You're listening to episode number 78.
Welcome to the Inner Singer Podcast, providing you with tools and techniques that you need to accelerate your singing, your performance, and your inner game beyond what you thought was possible. And now, your host for the Inner Singer Podcast, Mike Goodrich.
Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Inner Singer Podcast, episode number 78. Here we are, and I'm thrilled to be back. I love doing this. This episode has got an odd title, doesn't it? Stop the Madness and Go Sing Somewhere. Now, I'm going to get right into this because I wish that somebody had told me this. And this is probably more for intermediate and advanced singers than beginners. Because what I'm not saying, I'll address what I'm not saying first. What I'm not saying is if you have no experience singing, go sing somewhere. That's what I'm not saying. So if you're a beginner, you've never really sung, you've never sung anywhere, and you're listening to this podcast for the first time and you're just kind of exploring singing, then this episode is for you more in the future. You can listen to it and enjoy it, but I'm not saying go sing somewhere because there's certain things that you want to get under your belt before you can, feel comfortable doing that. This episode is for the intermediate to advanced singer that is waiting for magic to happen in their voice before they go sing somewhere. And the reason I can speak from experience is because I was that person. I was the one that was waiting until I got everything right and I would finally go sing. And this is years ago. I had studied for many, many years, and unfortunately, I was so far off my voice when I was studying because I wanted to be an opera singer. Many of you who've listened to this know that, so I won't bore you with this, but I did. I wanted to be an opera singer. And I don't really have an operatic voice. I'm more of a musical theater voice, which is what I ended up doing. But I was studying with somebody he was a great person, and he was helping me do what, we all thought I wanted to do, and he thought I was capable of, and I thought I was capable of it. But I was pushing my voice beyond any recognizable extreme to try and sound like an opera singer. Well, real opera singers don't try and sound like an opera singer. They just sound like opera singers. So anyway, he always recommended to all of his students to not sing anywhere. As a matter of fact, he put me in a choir, in a church choir years ago. And I told him I couldn't, I was having trouble singing the words, and he told me to vocalize the song. This was his answer. Well, just vocalize it. It's like I'm in a choir surrounded by people. I can't vocalize it. I'm going to look like an idiot. But anyway, so that is where I came from. Somebody who kind of instilled fear in me and perfectionism. And his thing was, well, you just keep working on your voice, work on your voice. You'll get so good that they'll come and get you. They'll come and chase you down. And he was so far from reality. Little did I know at that time, because he was much older and I gave him a lot of credit and I thought he had had a lot of success. He'd written a book and he was very smart and he turned out some really good singers. But he didn't know anything about performing and he didn't know anything about the business of performing. So he had this field of dreams kind of attitude, like build it and they will come. That is not really the case most of the time. Now, yeah, you could be the odd 1 in a million or 1 in 10 million who gets discovered because you're singing Happy Birthday in a restaurant to somebody and David Foster hears you and said, oh my God, that's the best version of Happy Birthday I've ever heard. I want to make you famous. But barring that, you pretty much got to put yourself in business. So what do I mean by stop the madness and go sing somewhere is don't be a perfectionist. Don't be afraid to be bad in public. You can really take a page from the great comedians of old who used to take their material and work it out of town. Now, granted, this is before the internet, where it's really difficult to be bad anywhere without a lot of people finding out about it, if you're a comedian or anything like that. But the principle is, well, number one, if you know you're already bad, then don't go, But if you've had some people that are giving you some good feedback and you're pretty sure it's just you and you're your own worst enemy right now because you're not allowing yourself to go out, or you lack confidence, or you're a perfectionist and you don't think you're good enough, any myriad of things, but you have other people telling you that you are good enough, oftentimes they can actually know best because they're not coming through the filter of your own self-esteem or your own self-confidence or your own view of yourself. So it's really a perfectionist thing, and it's really a build it and they will come misunderstanding. And, you know me, I'm all into the inner game. I mean, this is the Inner Singer podcast, but I'm not into the law of attraction, sitting around waiting to attract everything into your life, like the movie The Secret sort of misinformed people about. As a matter of fact, one of my mentors is John Assaraf, who's in The Secret, and even he said that the whole thing in the movie is they missed action, the law of attraction. Action. You have to take action. You can't just sit, as I say, cross-legged on the floor, meditating your way into a great singing career. You absolutely have to take action. And if you wait too long and you study, practice in your room, practice in your home, and do all these things, you don't get in front of anybody, and you actually want to have a singing career, you're going to stifle your growth, and you're going to get to a point where you really won't get any better until you get out into the world and get that feedback and build that muscle. There really is a point where to continue your growth and expansion as an artist, as a singer, you have to get out of the rehearsal hall. You have to take that step. You have to have the confidence and the courage. And if you don't have the confidence, you have to have the courage to go out and go to an open mic and sing one song, or get on, quarantine karaoke and sing one song. Sincerely, there really is. I don't know what's going on. Right now what's going on in the world, of course, we all know. But, 10 years from now, because these podcasts will be evergreen and they'll last forever, which is awesome, there may not be quarantine karaoke, which is a Facebook group that you could go and sing on. And I have a student of mine that has 300-400 people on watching him at a time. He's really, really, really good, but he's taken, kind of charge of his career and said, I want to sing someplace, even though there's no place to sing right now. They're starting to open up, of course. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to go anywhere where the stakes are really high. As a matter of fact, I would suggest you don't go where the stakes are high. Go where the stakes are just a little bit higher than you just singing for yourself in your room or in your house or in your studio. Don't all of a sudden, do something that's going to really freak you out. Case in point, here's an example. I had been singing for a long time when I did this. I had done musical theater. I had done 2 major roles, Che and Evita and George and Sunday in the Park with George. And I moved down to Los Angeles to further my studies because I wasn't happy with the way my voice was going. Many of you know this. And I had never really done a show of my own. And everybody was saying, you should do a show of your own, So I was going to put together a cabaret thing. So I got together with this phenomenal accompanist and musical director and arranger. And I put together this really, really cool show. Here's the problem with that. I filled it full of 11 o'clock numbers. Now, if you're not familiar with musical theater, you're not familiar with that term, 11 o'clock numbers are the big numbers in the show. So, like, for example, Wicked. Everybody knows Wicked. Well, Defying Gravity would be like an 11 o'clock number, even though it's I think it's the end of the first act, something like that. It's a huge number, So my show was full of these. And that was a big mistake. Why do I know it was a big mistake? Because the show never happened. I rehearsed the show, and there were a few times I sang through the show really, really well. But this was a show and a group of songs that I would have to have been in absolute top vocal shape, and everything would have had to been, all cylinders would have had to be firing. Nothing could have gone wrong. Everything. I would have had to be in phenomenal voice. And so I put that kind of pressure on my show. And what do you think happened? About 10 days before the show, I developed this kind of cough and a cold or whatever it was. But I was coughing like crazy. I did acupuncture. I went to doctors. I did everything I could to get my voice back. And I knocked my voice completely out and I had to cancel the show. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because part of me was really disappointed and a huge part of me was really relieved. And so I'm really convinced that I really kind of created that because I instead of just filling a show with easy songs and maybe having one difficult song or one challenging thing for an encore or one thing I could throw in there if I was feeling good and it was going well, that could be kind of showy, and filling it with the rest of the tunes would have been things that I can just, sing anytime. And there were a ton of songs that were great and impressive and beautiful that I loved that I could sing anytime. My worst day ever, my worst vocal day ever, I would have been fine, right? But I didn't do that. And I don't know why. I don't know if it was my ego got involved or it was just excitement. So not putting myself down, because I don't think it was my ego, but some of it was. It was like, I could never sing these songs. All these people don't know, many of these people don't even know I sing. They're students and, all these things. So I just built it up like crazy. And I made it too much pressure, right? I went from 0 to 60 instead of 0 to like 10. So what I'm saying to you is, don't make that mistake. When I'm saying go out and stop the Madison, sing somewhere, I'm not saying book a show and do a bunch of hard songs. I'm saying sing some easy song that you can just kind of roll out of bed and sing easily. And, just get out there so you can feel what it's like. You can get some feedback. But even more than getting feedback from somebody else, you can get feedback from yourself. You can get in that situation and see how it feels. I've got a student of mine, and he says one of the smartest things ever. He said, my main work with you, he's talking to me. He said, you've helped me so much with my voice, but you've helped me so much with life. But he said, what I really get from our work together is I get how to deal with myself. Because singing puts us in a very vulnerable situation, and we are forced to deal with ourselves if we're going to do it. Now, there's a way to not deal with yourself, and this is what I'm talking about. So if the people I'm talking to right now are you folks out there, and I know you're out there because I was one of you, that know you should be singing and you're not. You know you should go sing at an open mic, or you should sing online, or you could do a Facebook Live, or you should make YouTube videos, you should perform, you should do cover, you should do something, right? And you know you should be doing it, but you're not doing it. You guys are the people that I'm talking to. And you are the ones that I'm suggesting do something very, very easy. Sing an easy song. Go where the stakes are low, but they're a little bit higher than they are now when you're not doing it. And then you're going to learn about yourself and how you are in those situations. And that's going to bring stuff up that you need to deal with within yourself. Because the more we can deal with ourselves in these situations, the bigger situation that we can be in to be able to deal with ourselves more. But most of us aren't singing, not because we're afraid of singing or going out there and actually singing in front of somebody. We're afraid of having to deal with the feelings that come up within ourselves. So it's not that we're afraid to sing in front of somebody. We're afraid to face the feelings of dealing with ourselves with regards to how it feels to sing in front of somebody, right? So that's what I'm saying. Make it easy on yourself, but do it. Get out there, have some fun, and treat it like an experience where you're just going to get some feedback and see how you function in that setting. Because honestly, that's really the most important thing. It really isn't even about how your voice functions. It's about how you function. Because if you function well in those situations, your voice will follow suit and function well. The times my voice has not worked well for me are the times when I have not worked well. And this is in a show, this is in a performance, this is in a class, it's in whatever it is in. Now granted, there have been a few times, not going to lie, that I felt like I was handling myself really well. I felt confident. And I still goofed up, right? I mean, hey, it's live theater, it's a class, it's life, whatever. And when I screwed up, I was surprised. It was like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I'm, pretty there. And that was just not good at all. But we got to be willing to go through that and just let it go. Forget all about it and get on to the next one. When I was getting ready for this show, I went to the place that I was going to have the show, and they had a cabaret night where you could get up and sing a couple of songs. And I had 2 of the songs from the show that I had just sung great. I sang them great before I went. I didn't even warm up. I said to myself, I'm going to sing these songs without warming up right now. And if I can sing them without warming up easily, then, I'm going to go to this open mic tonight and try these things out. And clearly, if I can sing them here without warming up, I'll get all warmed up. I'll feel good. I'll have an accompanist. I'll sing great. So I go there. I sing them great at home, right? Not even warmed up. Sing them great. I go there, and I was horrible. It was like abysmal. I just wanted to bury my head and run out of there. I sang Finishing the Hat from Sunday in the Park with George, which is a show that I did as George. And I sang that show every day for months, or however long the run was, just like every day. And I never had a problem with it. I loved it. It was such a gorgeous song. Oh my God, I screwed it up so bad. Unbelievable. I really want to just bury my head and get the heck out of there. And to me, so this stuff happens. But we recover from it. It happens to every single singer on the planet. There is a guy named Colm Wilkinson, fabulous singer. Did the original Valjean in Les Mis, right? There's a recording floating around there, bless his heart, where he was singing Bring Him Home. No, I'm sorry, he wasn't singing Bring Him Home. He was singing Who Am I? And it ends on a big B natural. So, who am I? 2, 4, 6, 7. He goes up with this big high note, right? Oh my God, he just completely crashes and burns. I mean, he hits the note and immediately it cracks, and then he tries to get it and it's just all over the place. And I'm like, that actually made me feel good because this happened to him on stage in a performance. And this guy's phenomenal. I love Colm Wilkinson. Nobody ever holds anything against somebody like that. But the point is, if we're going to be out there, it's going to happen once in a while. We'll forget the words, or our voice will crack, or something, right? If it doesn't happen, then you are absolutely one of the completely lucky ones. If you don't ever miss a word, or you get some phlegm in your voice, or whatever, it doesn't have to be a big dramatic thing. But I'm just saying, in our mind, it's so much bigger than it really is. But do yourself a favor and just go out and make the stakes not very high. But if you are an intermediate and advanced singer and you are shying away from doing any singing or doing any performing, find something to do, because it's going to really take you to the next level. Okay? And do something, and I mean easy. I mean really, really, really easy. Don't go doing something, where it's terrifying and, no. I mean just a teeny notch up from not having anybody around. Just a teeny notch up from not singing for anybody. Just so you're feeling, these stakes are a little bit high. This is exciting. But don't get yourself into a situation like I did with the show, where I was kind of thinking, I'm not sure how I'm going to get out of this one, I got to be perfect, and I don't want to be perfect. So anyway, enough said. That should probably give you an idea. Have some fun with this. As with everything, I say, and anybody ever says to you, you have to run it. Here's my disclaimer. You have to run anything anybody ever tells you through your own intuition, your own filter, your own understanding, and weigh it out. Just because I am telling you, I'm going to kill the whole point of the podcast right now, and watch me do this, but I have to. It's a disclaimer, and I want you to take it seriously. You have to run everything by your own intuition. And if you really feel, for whatever reason, that you just don't want to do this right now, then you have to follow your intuition. Okay? I don't want to push anybody into a very uncomfortable situation for themselves. So trust your intuition. And if it doesn't feel like the right time for you, then don't do it. And totally be okay with yourself not doing it. No judgment, no shame, no blame, and no guilt. Just say to yourself, it didn't feel quite right to me, but I do feel like I'm kind of getting ready for that. I'm glad I heard this, but I'm not quite ready for that yet. And that's completely okay. But if you've been kind of on the fence and you need that little nudge of okay, I've been thinking a lot about this. Okay, yeah, he's right. I'm going to do it. then go and have some fun. But don't let me or anybody else push you into anything that is an uncomfortable, well, not necessarily uncomfortable, where your intuition is saying that, no, that's just not a good idea for me right now. Listen to your intuition, okay? But like I said, if you're one that's like been kind of wondering, should I sing somewhere? Should I do this? Should I, then maybe this can be the little nudge you need to know that you don't have to be perfect and you can be just having fun in the experience, and you're going to watch yourself grow and go up a notch, up notches that you can't go up until you really start doing that. And those of you who are really resonating with this and it's getting you excited but a little nervous, you guys are probably the ones that are ready to kind of step into this. And the ones that are kind of feeling like, I can't do this right now, then that's fine. Trust your intuition, but don't blame, don't shame, don't guilt yourself. Just be where you are, okay? Anyway, I hope you got some value out of this, and I am going to see you in the next episode. Oh, hey, let me tell you this. If you would like a free video series where I have actually a really great video on performance, I have a great video on technique, and I have a great video on singing in the brain and basically the mindset. If you're thinking about performance, definitely go get these, because this is going to really help you. The video I have on performance and the video I have on singing in the brain, well, actually all of them, but specifically these for this, are going to help you immensely, because the one on performance, I share an exercise that when you do it is really going to put your head and shoulders above those who don't. Many, believe me, many don't. It's also going to get you out of your head so you're not thinking about your voice and what am I going to do with my hands and all that. So it's really, really great. The mindset one's going to really help you too to rehearse this and deal with moving forward if you want to, okay? And then the technique one is just awesome anyway. It's called my free singing accelerator video series. And you can grab them at mikegoodrich.com/Mike's free videos. That's Mike Goodrich, my name, Goodrich, mikegoodrich.com/Mike's free videos. So go grab them, enjoy them. They're really going to help you. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Inner Singer Podcast. And please share this with all of your singing friends. And head on over to iTunes and subscribe. And if you found it of value, give us a nice rating. Thanks so much.